morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great morning so far. You're either going to work or getting off work or calling off from work. But I hope you guys are feeling good. I'm feeling so, like I got a few things going on, but we're gonna keep pushing along. That's the goal of this month and moving forward. We're just gonna keep pushing no matter what. But oh my God, I was thinking about calling off. Have you guys ever called off and just told like the biggest lie? I remember I'm just thinking like, thank God the job I have now, they're like so PC that you could tell them, you don't have to tell them anything. You could just say like, I'm not going in. They're like, okay. You know what I mean? And it sucks having a job where you have to say all these things. I remember I worked at a place, I used to drive at a certain place, and this girl, she broke her arm. And I remember she was like maybe a week into the job, and somehow she broke her arm. And we were all drivers. So I was very young. I was in school or whatever. So we were drivers, and like, you need your arms to drive, right? Like whether you know it or not, if you're going to drive professionally, you need both hands. Like when I drive with like one hand, or, I have my other hand like at bay, but she had a sling on her arm. So how is she going to drive people and they're going to be comfortable with that, So she came into work, and the owner had like one eye. No, he wasn't the owner. I'm sorry. He was the manager. He had one eye. His name was Danny. He had like a glass eye. And it's one of those things. I'm not making fun of people with one eye, but it was one of those things where he tried to tell you something really serious, and you just stare at him. You're like, how are you not, like, how are we supposed to have this conversation? Because it was just weird. Like he was the worst boss ever. I can't remember if he was a supervisor or manager. I think he was a manager. But and people would tell stories about how he got the eye and everything. I think it was like an ex-gangster, and he got like stabbed. But it was probably something more sincere, like, oh, he was born that way. You know what I mean? So it's just that I think he got the eye and then he played the part. He started like being a gangster. You know what I mean? It wasn't that the gangster came first, And but anyways, yeah, he was the worst boss ever. And the girl, she came in, and I was like, what are you doing? And I used to like advocate for everybody, and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I gotta start working. And she like climbed it. I think it was her left arm. She like climbed into the thing that we drove, to the van, and she's all like jumping in. I said, you can't drive like that. Like, first of all, I said, are you right or left-handed? She said left-handed. I got a phone call, you guys. Damn it. I got a phone call this morning. Anyways, I was saying that you can't drive with your dominant hand that's broken. Like, it was literally a whole sling on her arm, like a whole cast. And so she did a few rides, and the crews, they're like, wait a minute. They're like, I don't feel comfortable with this girl driving me, and she's got a sling on her arm. And they called the company. It was like a subcontract company type of thing. And they called the people, and they were like, well, she's got to work. There's nobody else to work. And do you know she worked for like 2 more days like that? And then finally the people are like, she's driving crazy. She can't drive with one arm. Like, what are you guys talking about? So they finally, after like a few days, made her stop working. So anyways, and they probably didn't even pay her. You know what I mean? These jobs are crazy. I don't know. I think about working since I was young versus working now. I've had so many crazy jobs. One of my first jobs was this company called Cutco, and I used to sell knives. I used to literally sell knives, and I don't even know how I got into it, because back then there was no Craigslist and all that. I don't remember how I got acquainted with the job or introduced to the job, but I used to go around and sell knives. Some of you guys remember I tried to sell you a knife, and I still have some of the products. They have these scissors that are like really good. I think I gave it to one of my friends. they could cut anything. And then the knives were actually really good, but I would go around to my neighbors' houses and do this presentation. And I think it was one of those, I didn't realize it was like a pyramid scheme. It's like you have to sell so many, and then you have to get people to join. But then there's people, they would have conferences, and people would come. And I was young, I was like 18. Or I think I was like 17, about to be 18. And there's people that would come, and they're like, oh, I'm the top salesman in Cutco. And they're like, I make $100,000 a year off of selling knives, and this is my knife empire. And I believed it. I'm like, oh shit, like, I'm like, maybe this is my future. Maybe, I'm like, I know how to cut an onion. Okay, I'm just learning how to cook. Let me be the knife empire queen. And I really thought I was gonna sit there and move up the ranks and be like a supervisor, and then be like a manager, and then like travel the world selling these wonderful knives to the people. But the funny thing is that I went to Costco recently, and they were selling those knives at Costco. Like, there was somebody there doing the presentation. So I'm like, is this a cult? Like, is this like Scientology or something? And where they're just stuck in there. Like, I wish I would have remembered that girl's name. I wonder if she's like the CEO or something, or is she even like, is she okay? But yeah, that was like the weirdest job I've had, because it was totally, it was just so random. And I think I resigned because I found like a real job at a movie theater. And I remember they owed me like $350, and they just never paid me. I remember one time we were supposed to get paid, and they're like, oh, the payments didn't come through. Like, what? Like, I actually sold all of these knives. Like, I sold a good amount. I sold like 10 or 11 kits, or 12 kits, or whatever. I was actually pretty good at it, because I would go to family parties, I would go to my neighbors' houses, and I'm like, I didn't have a car right that second, and then I would like walk around taking the bus with these knives. Imagine like some young freaking 17, 18-year-old with knives in their bag, and these were like huge knives. They weren't like little kitchen knives, they were like huge. So I actually sold a good amount of knives, and I think they were expensive. They're like $100 for the set, $200, and that was like back in the day, 20 years ago. So it was actually a good investment. Like, they lasted for a long time. But anyways, so I sold the knives, and they owed me a few $100s, and I never got it back. So maybe I should sue. Should I sue them for loss of damages? But anyways, you guys let me know what's the craziest job you guys have had. I really had some kind of insane jobs. I don't know, I just think work, to me, a lot of people think that work like defines who you are, and work, like, it's so important to your life. And I mean, you need the money, but a lot of people define themselves by like, oh, I do this or I do that. And I never really cared. Like, I just need the money. I don't care about any titles. If a custodian makes $500,000 a year, I'd do it, just as long as there's good people. But as I go to work, I'm just like, I think sometimes, like, how did I even get here? I remember, do you remember back in the day when they had like instant message? I remember I used to instant message on my computer, and you weren't supposed to do that, but I would, like, there were times where I'm like so bored, like I'd file files, and then like I think I got caught one time instant messaging, and it's just too much. But these I'm just thinking about work right now. I don't have anything to talk about. I watched this girl. I was watching a story about this girl who was missing in LA, and I guess she missed her flight. She's like 30 years old. She's from Hawaii, and it's been a whole big thing. She's been missing for a month, right? And her family like put up a GoFundMe and everything, and that's what I've been following, right? So now they're saying that the girl, they found her at the border in Mexico. They're saying that she voluntarily left, and then her dad even came from Hawaii. He was here for like a week or two. They were looking for her in downtown. Somebody made a video of an event. They filmed a video at an event in LA, like in downtown. at oh no, I'm sorry, it was at the Grove in Hollywood, or West Hollywood, and it was a video of like a LeBron James basketball event or something, and they just happened to find her in the background. So they sent this video to the cops. They're like, hey, she wasn't at LAX, she was actually here. And they were looking all over for her. So long story short, her dad comes out here and he unalives himself because it's just too much. They found his body at LAX, and then now this is like a week or two after that, they're saying that they found her at the border in Mexico. So who knows where she's at? I don't know. I feel like I did a video yesterday about just people going through it. A lot of people are judging her, saying, how could she do this? You don't know what she's going through. You know, I'm just thinking about, I relate it to work because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what conditions. She might have a job that's stressing her out, people that are stressing her out. I don't know. We have to have compassion for people, because I just think if she did that, and like what's going on in her head, you know. But yeah, I don't watch too much TV, but I was following that because I'm like, oh my God, I live in LA. What if I see her one day? You know, I wanted to be informed, but because there's a lot of missing people in LA. I don't know if you guys know this. There's actually a lot of people that come up missing. I follow a lot of pages that show the local news, and they always show women that are missing. So they thought she was being trafficked and everything, but they said now that she's voluntarily missing. She wanted to just get away from her family. And yeah, so anyways, this is just a rambling video. I'm already at work, so I'll talk to you guys later. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and thank you for watching. If you watch this, yeah, I'm gonna make a better video later. But you guys have a great day. Thank you once again. Have a good one.